Howdy, I'm Joyce Alexander, Dean of the College of Education and Human Development at Texas A&M University. We began this year hopeful and excited to celebrate with you 50 years of College of Education and Human Development history. Little did we know what 2020 would have in store for us. While I would love to have been able to gather with you to celebrate our 50th anniversary gala and Dean's Roundtable celebration, I hope this video can show a portion of our respect and admiration for our honorees. As the latest cohort of our Dean's Roundtable, you join a growing list of over 600 individuals who have positively impacted lives throughout the state of Texas and beyond. This year, we honor 37 remarkable individuals who have been role models, mentors, and servant leaders in their communities. Before we recognize these champions of today and tomorrow, we want to acknowledge the many sponsors who nominated our honorees tonight. Through your generosity and those sponsors before you, we have been able to provide scholarships and supports for our students since the Roundtable was first established in 1991. Even though we are saddened that we are unable to hold this event, we are immensely grateful and proud that we are able to provide more than $300,000 in undergraduate scholarships, graduate fellowships, and student support. We thank you. For this year's event, we were honored to have Texas A&M University System Board of Regents Chair Elaine Mendoza agree to share a few words with our honorees. She has graciously agreed to record these remarks for us to share with you virtually. Elaine Mendoza is founder, president, and CEO of Conceptual MindWorks, Inc., established in 1990. CMI is a biotechnology and medical informatics company located in San Antonio, Texas. Ms. Mendoza received the Women's Legacy Award from the Aggie Women's Association in October 2014, and in 2013 received the Outstanding Alumni Award from the Dwight Look College of Engineering at Texas A&M. In December 2012, the San Antonio Mayor and City Council appointed her chair of the Early Childhood Education Municipal Development Corporation Board of Directors, which is responsible and accountable for the Pre-K-4 SA program implementation. Ms. Mendoza has been involved in community initiatives revolving around the expansion of educational opportunities, healthcare, and economic growth both locally and nationally. She was appointed to the Texas A&M University System Board of Regents by Governor Perry in 2011 and reappointed by Governor Greg Abbott in 2017. She served 2 terms as vice chair of the board from 2015 to 2019 and was elected chairman of the board on May 17, 2019. Thank you, Regent Mendoza, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for asking me to be a part of the virtual 2020 Dean's Roundtable as you celebrate 50 years of the College of Education and Human Development at Texas A&M. I know we say this all the time nowadays, but what a strange time we live in. COVID-19 has affected all of us, but few professionals are tested more than educators. And it was hard before. Just like medical professionals, teachers and administrators are truly frontline workers in society today. Educators these days are being asked to take care of our children, comfort them, and make them feel safe. They do this all while also trying to give them everything they need to learn and grow. Whether it is virtual learning or in-classroom instruction, our teachers are taking tremendous risks every day in the name of the greater good. That is probably why the best teachers come from Texas A&M and our regional universities. After all, we understand sacrifice and selfless service better than anyone. Texas A&M leads the way as our system holds the proud distinction of being the system that prepares more highly qualified educators than any system in the state. That is something to be proud of, but it also comes with a tremendous responsibility. And thank God it's on us, because now, more than ever, our school-age children need great teachers, and we deliver. You know, if there's one positive thing that COVID brought us, it is that parents and grandparents now have a greater appreciation for our educators. After months of trying to balance work and while also trying to teach their children at home during this pandemic, they finally get to see how hard an educator's job really is. I had the incredible opportunity to witness this firsthand. My mother, Mary Lou Mendoza, is a lifelong educator. Starting at 13 years old, she taught accordion. She later went through college, put herself through school while raising her family, and became an elementary school educator, an administrator, a vice principal of elementary school, a principal of an elementary school, and finally, after 50 years with Northside Independent School District in San Antonio, she retired. I can't imagine the numerous students she affected in a positive way over that span of a career. Her focus and her mantra was that every student can learn. You just have to find the right way to teach them and reach them. She showed me that education was the great equalizer, was the difference in a person being able to fulfill their destiny and reach their dreams. Having access to a quality education made all the difference. And that one teacher, coach, principal can inspire a person like no other. Well, I was not blessed with the gift of being a teacher, having that ability, so I determined to dedicate my community service efforts to education. I've had the honor of chairing the Board of Regents Committee on Academic and Student Affairs since 2011. And because of my experience in witnessing my mom and her dedication and commitment to education, knowing that workforce development begins in the womb in some cases, we had to focus on educator preparation. For too long, pre-K-12 and higher education would point fingers at each other saying, well, your students aren't prepared well enough. Public education would then say, well, excuse me, but you guys produce the teachers, principals, superintendents. Where's the connectivity? Well, higher ed, it's time we step up, and we have to focus on educator preparation, to look at the importance of teachers in the classroom, the importance of what teachers do every day. So we began a focus on educator preparation back in 2012. We started with a couple of university presidents bringing together their deans of education and focusing in on what do we need to do to better prepare our teachers. We even have a certificate in math for our elementary school teachers that we got approved through TEA. Innovative things that weren't done before, our system has done. Well, all of that focus and work in educator preparation and in ensuring that we highlight our colleges of education and celebrate our deans of our colleges of education, giving them a forum to come together and look at best practices. All of that culminated in 2019 with the creation of We Teach Texas campaign. The campaign says, every success story starts in the classroom. Become a teacher. The thought was the Texas A&M system is well known for programs like engineering, agriculture, science, and healthcare, and that's fantastic, that's great. But we couldn't even begin talking about the great strides we have taken in those fields without high-quality teachers who provide top-tier pre-K-12 education and experiences. In truth, we really should be known for our teaching programs. After all, many of our A&M institutions began as teaching colleges. We Teach Texas highlights our education programs at our 11 universities and exposes the desperate need for more highly qualified teachers in Texas. Did you know that Texas A&M University is #1 in the overall production of initial educator certificates in Texas? More importantly, we are #1 in training teachers in needed areas such as math, science, and bilingual education. Texas has a bright future, but only if we educate the next generation of Texans. Why? Because Aggies care. We want to make a difference. I cannot think of a more noble way to do that than to teach young people and give them the foundation for learning that will carry through their lives. Think about it. One teacher can reach dozens of young people every year. If even half of those students end up doing something positive for the world, like becoming teachers themselves, then we will make the world happier, healthier, smarter, and more compassionate. Keep up the inspirational work, Aggie educators. You don't hear this enough, but you deserve to. So let me say it now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and gig 'em.
Howdy, I'm Jody Ford, class of 99, Senior Director of Development for the College of Education and Human Development. I have the privilege of introducing to you each of our 2020 Dean's Roundtable honorees. Our first is Regent Elaine Mendoza. Regent Mendoza is sponsored by Malcolm Stewart. Stephanie F. Anderson. The positive impact of her third grade teacher convinced Stephanie that she wanted to help students of her own feel accepted, valued, respected, challenged, and most importantly, loved. Today, she teaches fourth grade at Greens Prairie Elementary in College Station ISD, a campus she helped open in 2011. She hopes her students become lifelong learners with a love and appreciation for reading. She has also mentored countless student teachers and senior method students from Texas A&M University. Ms. Anderson is sponsored by the Garver Black Hilliard Foundation. Burrell Beatty. A former Texas A&M quarterback, Burrell Beatty turned down an NFL career to teach high school. He stood up against the bigotry of the day during his time as coach at El Paso Bowie in the Segundo Barrio, a historic Hispanic neighborhood. His students battled poverty, discrimination, and a culture of hopelessness. He molded the boys into men of character through his own example and inspirational speeches. His life was cut tragically short at the age of 30, but he left a legacy of integrity and inclusion that changed young men's lives. Mr. Beatty is sponsored by Sue and Rick Rickman. Susan A. Bloomfield. Dr. Bloomfield retired recently as Associate Dean for Research in our college. Her research focused on the profound impact of microgravity in spaceflight and modeled space radiation on bone health. For 10 years, she served on the research leadership of the National Space Biomedical Research Institute. She is a fellow in the National Academy of Kinesiology, the American College of Sports Medicine, and the American Society of Bone and Mineral Research. She served on 2 National Academy committees advisory to NASA. Dr. Bloomfield is sponsored by the Department of Health and Kinesiology. Kevin Brown. With a goal to help others, Kevin Brown has served as a teacher, assistant principal, and administrator in school districts throughout Central Texas. While superintendent of Alamo Heights ISD, he earned the Region 20 Superintendent of the Year and was a finalist for Texas Superintendent of the Year. In 2017, the district received Best School District in Texas recognition from HEB Excellence in Education Awards. In 2018, Kevin became the Executive Director of the Texas Association of School Administrators. Dr. Brown is sponsored by Sonia and Neil Adams. Lynn M. Burrowbaugh. Lynn is a professor of curriculum and instruction, a member of the graduate faculty, and served 1 year as interim department head of teaching, learning, and culture here at Texas A&M. He has chaired over 600 master's degree committees and supervised 47 doctoral dissertations, as well as serving on over 100 other graduate committees. In 2006, he was a recipient of a college-level teaching award from the Association of Former Students at Texas A&M. He will retire this year, but continue to be active in a variety of organizations. Dr. Burrowbaugh is sponsored by the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Culture. Glenda Burns. Glenda is a clinical professor, special education division chair, and the associate department head for academic affairs and educational psychology at Texas A&M. She has represented our college in multiple capacities, including the data work group at the Texas Education Agency. Her dedication to her work is evidenced by the receipt of the Association of Former Students Distinguished Achievement Award in Teaching in 2018 and the Provost Academic Professional Track Faculty Teaching Excellence Award in 2020. Dr. Burns is sponsored by the Department of Educational Psychology. Julie Cooper. Julie has spent the past 19 years building relationships and providing meaningful learning experiences for 3rd and 4th grade students. At Greens Prairie Elementary and College Station, where she currently teaches, she implemented a school-wide student leadership program called Friends Building Initiative. In 2019, she was the Campus Teacher of the Year. She was also named the Elementary Teacher of the Year by the district as well as by Region 6 Education Service Center. Ms. Cooper is sponsored by Kathy and Mike Hobble. Ann Cood. Ann's 35-year career that included teaching preschool in Fort Worth convinced her of the need to invest in the well-being and education of children worldwide. Though she impacted many students, her kindness, humor, and understanding made a particular impact on one family of a child with special challenges. Her unique skills allowed her to relate to the child as a valuable and important member of society. Because of the trusting relationship, she could provide comfort in ways others could not and was an invaluable support to the family. Ms. Cood is sponsored by Marianne, Gordon, and Glenn Gibson. Jack A. Cummings. As professor of psychology, chair of the Department of Counseling and Educational Psychology, and executive associate dean of the School of Education at Indiana University for 39 years, Jack not only modeled amazing leadership skills, but was also an astute teacher and ethical guide. His caring, support, and wisdom had a profound impact on countless students and faculty, including our very own Dean Joyce Alexander. He received Professor Emeritus status upon his retirement in 2017. Dr. Cummings is sponsored by Joyce and Blair Alexander. Gogi Dixon, Ph.D. Gogi was one of the first women to enroll at Texas A&M in 1963. As a military wife, she made 30 moves in 30 years and taught in a variety of schools both at home and abroad. Her 45-year career includes roles as a principal, assistant superintendent, and finally a college lecturer. Her passion for community service led to positions on many boards focusing on education. These efforts have garnered numerous awards, including a 2014 induction into the San Antonio Women's Hall of Fame. Dr. Dixon is sponsored by Raul and Sylvia Fernandez. Deanna Doles. Deanna has always been passionate about teaching and coaching. While studying at Texas A&M, she served as a graduate assistant coach, manager, and administrative assistant for the highly successful Texas A&M women's basketball team. She has since coached at several College Station schools and is currently coordinator of girls athletics and AVID at Welborn Middle School. She was a Teacher of the Year finalist in 2012 and 2014. The Texas Association of Basketball Coaches named her Assistant Coach of the Year in 2015. Ms. Doles is sponsored by Ellen and Rod Thornton. Barbara E. Hinton. Barbara is Emeritus Professor at the University of Arkansas. She served as Professor and Department Head of Rehabilitation, Human Resources, and Communications Disorders, as well as Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in the College of Education and Health Professions. Together with her faculty, she developed and initiated delivery of the first distance education degree at the university in the 1990s, which has since developed into their global campus, with 59 online degree, certificate, and licensure programs. Dr. Hinton is sponsored by the Department of Educational Administration and Human Resource Development. Colleen Holmes. According to her principal, Colleen is Bryan High School. She has served the campus for 42 years as a science teacher and a true leader and mentor to many students and young teachers. She has been the Campus Teacher of the Year as well as the District's Secondary Teacher of the Year. Recently, she received a Women of Distinction honor from the Girl Scouts of Central Texas, and in 2012, a You're the Tops award from the Brazos Valley Prenatal Clinic. Ms. Holmes is sponsored by Janine Morris and Carrie Como. Laura King. Laura earned a Bachelor's in Health Education from Texas A&M University in 2007, where she was a member of the National Champion Equestrian Team. She began her career in Bryan ISD, teaching science-related courses at the middle school and high schools in the district. Today, she is a scientific research and design teacher at the Bryan Career and Technical Education Complex that opened in 2019. In 2016 and 2019, she received the CTE Excellence Award and last year was named Bryan ISD's Secondary Teacher of the Year. Ms. King is sponsored by Aaron and Jim Crott. Esther J. McCool. Esther is a compassionate and humble custodian who not only keeps Passmore Elementary and Alvin ISD sparkling clean, but also cares about the staff and students. Recently, a photo posted on social media gained national attention. It showed her comforting a student with autism who was laying on the floor wrapped in a blanket to escape the noise of the cafeteria. Esther says she didn't do it for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. Ms. McCool is sponsored by Deborah and James Robertson. Sue Wilson McGowan. Sue was a head librarian at St. John's Lower School in Houston for 25 years, where she received the Jane Kessler Award for teaching and the Cullen Chair in Primary Education. She also received the City Joe Johnson Award from the Children's Roundtable of the Texas Library Association. Although retired for 11 years, she and her husband mentor students at their neighborhood middle school and teach an ESL class for parents at their neighborhood elementary school as well. Ms. McGowan is sponsored by Eddie Matee Nelson and Jim Nelson. Andrea Sissy McKenna, class of 79. Sissy wore many hats during her career, including teacher, librarian, grant writer, mentor, and inspirational role model. One coworker credits Sissy with motivating her to complete a master's degree, and a former student admires her strength of character. Sissy has volunteered at Aggie Ring Day, a camp for children and adults with disabilities, in Galveston schools. Together with her husband John, she created a scholarship for special education teachers in memory of their daughter Andy. Ms. McKenna is sponsored by the McKenna family. Emily Mitchell. Emily spent 35 years as a high school nurse in an area of generational poverty in Northeast Houston. Known as a champion for her students, she created a maternity closet for expectant young mothers, bought glasses for those who could not afford them, and taught life skills that may not have been a part of the curriculum but were essential for her students' future success. She passed away in 1990, but her example of service through teaching lives on in the lives of her children. Ms. Mitchell is sponsored by Gail and Mark Bellamy. Jaime Mosqueda. Jaime was born in Mexico and moved to the U.S. when he was 5 years old. He learned English by singing simple songs. Today, he creates his own songs to individualize lessons as a dual-language kindergarten teacher at Bryan ISD's Johnson Elementary. He sponsors the school guitar and drum club, the soccer team, and owns a dual after-school program. He voluntarily gives music lessons to community students and provides his personal equipment for district events. In 2012, he received the Hispanic of the Year award from the Hispanic Forum of Bryan College Station. Mr. Mosqueda is sponsored by Sue Ellen and Phil Minor. Jennifer Pasteur. In 2001, Jennifer's desire to influence and motivate students to become active participants in their communities led her to found and serve as Executive Director of Education in Action, a nonprofit organization that provides hands-on learning, travel experiences for Texas students through summer camps and field trips. In 2011, she founded the North Texas Leadership Academy to provide bright and gifted students with a project-based learning model that incorporates leadership and service learning. Ms. Pasteur is sponsored by Drs. Betty and Robert Carpenter. Linda Ponder. Linda has been a secondary teacher, a case manager, a college lecturer, and an advocate for health education. She has presented invited papers across the country and internationally. She was vice chair for 8 years and chair for 4 years of the Medical Care Advisory Committee to the Texas Medicaid Director. She was also one of the first 2 parent liaisons on the Community Resource Coordination Group state team and served on the Texas Alliance of Women's Health Network's Executive Council. Dr. Ponder is sponsored by Carolyn Lohman. Juan Ignacio Ramirez Sierra. Juan was Bilingual Teacher of the Year for Cage Elementary in Houston ISD in 2007 and 2008. He became Dean of Instruction at Scarborough Elementary in 2016, a school that received catastrophic flood damage during Hurricane Harvey. Ramirez and his principal still moved forward with a partnership with Texas A&M to participate in the U.S. Department of Education grant, Project LISTO, which stands for Literacy-Infused Science Using Technology Opportunities. Within the first year of implementation, students showed improvement on state-mandated tests. Mr. Ramirez is sponsored by the Education Leadership Research Center and the Center for Research and Development in Dual Language Acquisition, Drs. Beverly Irby and Rafael Lara Alessio. Melina Riccio. Melina attended Texas A&M University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in international studies and political diplomacy. After working with refugees in Costa Rica, she came to believe the greatest social justice issues are in local classrooms. Today, she is an English teacher at McAllen High School and has been in their Teacher Hall of Fame every year since 2014. She was the Teacher of the Year for the campus in 2019 and then was awarded Secondary District Teacher of the Year. She has also been a closing speaker for TEDx McAllen. Ms. Riccio is sponsored by Barbara and Arno Krebs Jr. Cynthia A. Riccio. Cynthia is a professor, the director of training in the school psychology program, and has a faculty appointment at the Texas A&M Institute of Neuroscience. She is a fellow of both the American Psychological Association and the National Academy of Neuropsychology. She is also the recipient of the Outstanding Service to the Profession from the Texas Association of School Psychologists and the Association of Former Students University Distinguished Achievement Award in Teaching. Dr. Riccio is sponsored by the Department of Educational Psychology. David C. Schwartz. David's career focus has been on helping people positively advance their life. He has been a VISTA volunteer, a social worker, a financial consultant, and has spent over 25 years in higher education. Today, he serves as a senior regional advisor with Texas A&M University in the Prospective Student Center in Austin. He received the College Access Champion Award from the Austin Chamber of Commerce and the Citizen of the Year from the Oak Hill Business and Professional Association. Mr. Schwartz is sponsored by Sarah and Michael Mabry. Melinda Sheffield Moore. Melinda earned her bachelor's degree in exercise science from Texas A&M University. After earning her master's degree in exercise physiology from the University of Houston, she spent 4 years at NASA's Johnson Space Center as an experiment support scientist, training astronauts to conduct experiments in human physiology and medicine. After earning her doctorate in human physiology and medicine in Indiana, she returned to Texas to complete her postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Texas Medical Branch. In 2017, she was named head of the Department of Health and Kinesiology at Texas A&M. She is the leader of more than 100 faculty and staff and the director of the Aging and Translational Research in Medicine Lab. Dr. Sheffield Moore is sponsored by Drs. Betty and Robert Carpenter. Gerald Smith. Gerald Smith graduated from Texas A&M University and embarked on a 30-year career in the Marines. He served in various roles as commander and assistant division commander from California to Afghanistan and Japan. He received a Combat Action Ribbon, 4 Meritorious Service Medals, a Bronze Star, and 2 Legion of Merit Awards. He retired from the Marine Corps with the rank of colonel and is now serving as the director of the Veteran Resource and Support Center at Texas A&M. He has also served as the director of the Office of Veteran Services for the Texas A&M system since August 2018. Colonel Smith is sponsored by Susan and William Oren. Janet M. Sosaman. Janet holds a bachelor's and master's degree in mathematics. She currently teaches middle school science in Belton ISD with a philosophy that every student has a capacity to continually improve. She believes that success is not measured by an assessment, but by a student's ability to push through hard things and keep trying. She inspires, guides, and encourages her students to capitalize on their strengths and find ways to overcome their weaknesses. Ms. Sosaman is sponsored by Ann and Jerry Gundy. Joanne Stringfellow. Joanne made history in 1972 as the first African-American woman to walk across the graduation stage at Texas A&M University in College Station. She had no idea of the historic impact until Dean Hubert told her as he awarded her her degree in curriculum and instruction. She made the most of her education, garnering several Teacher of the Year awards, a TV station's Teachers Make a Difference award, and many other recognitions, including comments from parents such as, "You are a class act," and "I, for one, am glad you were there for my kids." Ms. Stringfellow is sponsored by Rita Haynes. Shirley Trakel Swinbank. Shirley is the founder, owner, and executive director of Yorkshire Academy, a successful private school founded in 1984 in Houston, Texas. Her passionate educational and business expertise has enabled it to grow from a preschool-only program to a campus that educates 300 students from around the world, ranging in age from 18 months to 5th grade. She is also the executive director of the Yorkshire Foundation, whose purpose is to teach students about community service. She also serves on numerous charitable and community-based organizations. Ms. Swinbank is sponsored by Joe Swinbank. Josh Simank. A graduate of Texas A&M University, Josh is the principal at Oakwood Intermediate School in College Station ISD. He believes that success looks different for every child and that every child is capable of success. In both 2018 and 2019, he was a statewide semifinalist for the HEB Excellence in Education Award in the School Principal category. In 2019, he was named the Texas Association of School Principals Region 6 Middle School Principal of the Year. Mr. Simank is sponsored by Renee and Scott Moses. Homer Tolson. After retiring from Texas A&M in Health and Kinesiology in 1999, Homer returned to serve in the Department of Educational Administration and Human Resource Development in 2000. He served as a senior professor teaching graduate courses in statistical analysis and research design. He received the Outstanding Teaching Achievement in 2016 and the Outstanding Mentoring Achievement in 2019 from EAHR. Despite having retired in August of 2019, he was awarded the Ivana S. Lincoln Distinguished Professor Award in 2020. Dr. Tolson is sponsored by the Department of Educational Administration and Human Resource Development. Mike Tomcheson. Mike taught classes in health and kinesiology at Texas A&M, but he was best known as the facilities coordinator for the department. He kept aging buildings functional and coordinated a multitude of moves. In 2013, he received the AFS Distinguished Achievement Award for staff. Nominator comments included, "HLKN staff and faculty love this man. He knows how to prioritize tasks and is unfailingly courteous and full of good cheer. He goes above and beyond the call of duty. He has a true servant's heart in all he does, always serving, never seeking personal praise." Mr. Tomcheson is sponsored by the Physical Education Activity Program. Julie Wester. Julie is a 4th grade math, science, and social studies teacher at Creekview Elementary in College Station ISD. She was named Texas Farm Bureau's 2019 Agriculture in the Classroom Outstanding Teacher. In making the announcement, CSISD stated, "Her students learn about agriculture through hands-on activities and visual lessons. They take field trips to the pizza ranch to learn about how food is grown and participate in Texas Farm Bureau's school visit program, along with other engaging activities." Ms. Wester is sponsored by Claire and Bill Selman. Mike Williamson. Mike spent his 40-year career in Spring Branch ISD teaching, coaching, and completing a 23-year stint as athletic director. He managed expansion of facilities and addition of programs as the district grew. 2 of his many awards are the Texas High School Athletic Director of the Year in 1988-89 and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association Hall of Honor recipient in 1998. In 2004, Spring Branch ISD named the Fieldhouse at the district's Tully Stadium after him. Mr. Williamson is sponsored by Susan and Sam Torn. Freddie Wong, class of '69. Freddie is a registered professional engineer and a member of the State Bar of Texas. He is also active in the Houston A&M Club, where together with Sam Williams, class of '68, he started the Caring Aggies Mentoring Program in 2006. Volunteers are paired with 3rd grade students and mentor them through high school. 2 of them will soon be Aggie grads, and others are in colleges throughout the U.S. Freddie also started a STEM Teacher in-Service program that received TEA approval to grant professional development hours. He has been named Volunteer of the Year and Outstanding Aggie of the Year by the Houston A&M Club. Mr. Wong is sponsored by the Houston A&M Club.
To conclude, I want to thank once again the sponsors who made this event possible through their generous donations, and to say thank you once more to our amazing honorees who go out and change lives every day. Thank you.